Okay, back in the saddle here. Let's go. So our next feature is coming up shortly here. You can see there's a little bit of a continuation of the rock work here. So again, not particularly high. So we're at 1535. So we've climbed, if I remember correctly, when we get to the end, I'll try to see if I'll look back at the first segment, because I think I mentioned what the elevation was, and we'll put it up on the screen, the original one, and then basically we will compare it to where we've gotten to. So our next feature is coming up just right here. You see sort of this big kind of swampy area. And Beaver's been at it here, chopped a bunch of things down over there and dragged it into the swamp. Yeah, don't drink that water, Loon. Maybe that's why you threw up. All right, so the feature that we're going to be taking a look at is just going to be right beside us here on the, I guess, eastern, I don't even know what direction we're going in, kind of almost north, 320. It's going to be beside us here on the, I guess, eastern side. So if you look back at the episode, the section of the video, the section of the episode that we were at Horne, we talked about how many people were at Horne in 1911, and it mentions that there was a certain amount of people at Horne, and then there was a certain amount of people at the Ballast pit. Now the question becomes is, what are they referring to when they talk about the Ballast pit? Because it looks like there was some ballast work, there was some digging that was done over by Horne, but we also know that there was a Ballast pit located right here. So just up ahead here is basically, so the spur that runs into this, and I'm going to show you some maps, and I'm going to show you one timetable. Basically it connects at the west end and it curves and it runs right through here. Where the hell is she going? You can see it very, very clearly on satellite photos, particularly the far end of it. Where are you looking at going? So you can see part of it cutting through. It looks like there's an opening in the trees. I don't know how well you can see that in the camera, but it looks like there's a V in the trees. That's where the spur was running into. And I'm going to show you, because you can actually see part of it here. I think part of it. So let's go in here. And I think now the trick is how to get over there, because I think we can get across here. I'm not as, whoa. Okay, check that. Okay. So I think this is part of the spur here. So I don't know when this spur was constructed. It shows up on the, so you can basically see this thing here, right? This right here. It shows up on the 1915 timetable, employee timetable. So let's talk a little bit about this. So there was a large ballast pit that started at milepost 53.8. When you try to check the mileage, it doesn't quite work out exactly right, but because it would put it starting way farther back. The spur is large. It's like 4,000 feet. And was in use could have been in use between 1911 and 1915. Census record of 1911 lists 26 laborers at the pit. Possibly, again, we don't know if that's pit or this pit. However, we know the workers are from Galicia, which is in Eastern Europe. So you'll notice here that there's a couple of buckets here. I think these are track bolt buckets, because we've seen these before. See, should be Stelco. Are these track bolt buckets? Does the other one say anything? They kind of look like it. I don't see any writing on them. Okay, but basically you can kind of see something here, right? So again, this, I don't know when this was opened, but certainly it was here in 1915. So it's been a long time. So you can basically see something going this way, and then it curves this way, and it really kind of keeps in line with what we're seeing on the satellite imagery. The unfortunate thing is we don't have any LiDAR coverage right now of this area, and that really sucks because you'd be able to see things on the LiDAR. Basically, LiDAR is a laser, stands for laser imaging. I'll put it up on the screen. But basically LiDAR gives you a view of the ground, and you can see natural features that have basically been put in. And so stuff like this would show up well. You'd see kind of a bit of a hump in the ground, but you can definitely see that there's something here running this way and then going off there. And I followed it when I was here in the end of September. I followed it, and basically it goes all the way up here, goes through that tree line up ahead, and then it gets to a spot where it's all wet. Like literally there's a creek running through it. But then it continues on, and you can see it really, really well on the satellite imagery. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you that, I'm going to show you a couple of maps. And then I'm going to show you that 1915 timetable that's on there. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to show you, when I was here at the end of September, we brought the drone. And so I flew the drone. And so basically you can see this area from the drone, and you can see that pit very, very well defined. Okay, home run stretch here, 12:23. Man, I'm telling you, these hikes take forever. So this part of the spur is right beside us here, and then I'm going to show you where I think it pops out. You can see all of this kind of orangey, kind of golden appearance to the grade. Basically that is, those are the needles from the tamaracks, and of course they've fallen down, and so they kind of give this kind of very pretty appearance to the grade. So I think, where did I write down? Up here. So there's a ditch that's still on here, and one of the telltales where you see spurs is basically where it kind of meshes back into the grade. And so you just basically see you know, ditch, and then I think I found the spot here where it maybe comes back in. Now again, if you work the mileage out, it puts it way up there, which is not right because there's a rock cut there. So I think this is the mesh point here, or the junction point, because the ditch disappears. So right about here somewhere, I think, is the part where the spur would have come off, because that ditch disappears and this sort of comes back into the grade here. So this may have been the start of that ballast spur. Okay, let's get her done here. Last little piece here. There's a, you probably can't see it on the camera, but there's a tower up ahead, and I believe that's the tower at Raith. So basically tells us where we are. So we're going through a cut here. I don't know if there's any rock work in here, maybe just a tiny little bit here and there. Trailer makes a lot of noise without the dog in it. How long have we gone? 17 kilometers, jeez. Man. Last weekend we did 50. We did 23 one day and we did 27 the other day. Putting a lot of miles on the bike here. Butt is killing me. If I could do this all the time, I'd be in really good shape. 15:44. So if I'm right here, then we've climbed 100 feet. So you can see just a wee little bit of rock work here. Sorry, I'm just trying to, oh, that's where, according to the mileage, this is where the spur for the ballast pit is supposed to come out, but there's no way that that's right. Again, it's really hard to figure out mileage on this line because it changed names so many times. And when you look at the timetables and stuff, some of the mileage doesn't work out properly. Like, so if you take, say for example, one station and you take the original mileage and you subtract that, like say for example the Graham mileage, and you'll get one number, and then you'll do it for another station, you get a different number, right? So something is off there, right? And it's very, very frustrating. And one of the things that we don't have is, say for example on the Kinghorn line, you have milepost markers. Is that a plane? You have milepost markers, so you can kind of have an idea, but the mileage is consistent. This one, it's all over the place, right? And so it's really, really hard to figure things out. Okay, so we've arrived at our destination, kids. So you can basically see that there's a road that kind of goes this way and goes straight, and you can see the grade continuing dead straight on here. So this is our destination. This is Michener-Parry Road. So this is the road access. So the previous road access is by Finnmark, Finnmark Flat Road, which is like 15 miles back that way. And so this is the next road access, and then the next road access after this is up by Raith. So we're gonna go a little bit further here, just past the truck, and here's where we'll wrap it up. So again, you can see the grade is dead straight. So we're leaning back all those curves, so we get into a sort of a flatter area, and so the grade doesn't have too many deviations. Okay, so again, we've arrived at our destination. So hopefully you enjoyed today's explorations. A lot of really neat things to take a look at. Horne Station and the stuff that we found there, some of the concrete culverts, the Ballast pit. So basically this is kind of the end of, almost the end of hiking season for this year. So the plan is to come back and do this section next spring. There's really not a ton of things. There's some stuff to obviously take a look at Raith. So it's going to be taking us just past Raith, but hopefully we're going to be able to do that one in the springtime. So we'll get back here as soon as we can after the snow goes. So in any case, we'll be back just as soon as we can with yet more explorations. But in the meantime, thanks for tuning in, and take care.